Like most programs, processing offers you a window full of preferences, so you can adjust how it works to your taste. Let's take a look at a few of the most important preferences. Here's the Preferences window. You get this by going up to the menu bar, clicking on Processing, and choosing Preferences. There are really only 4 things I want to talk about here. The first one is this area called Sketchbook Location, and it gives you a box into which you can type a path. This is simply the default location for your sketches or your programs. When you hit Save, this is the default where your browser will start out. If you don't like using this particular path for the default, go to the right-hand side. You see there's a button marked Browse. Click on that, select the folder you would like to have as your default, and you're in business. The second thing I want to talk about is the editor font size. This number tells the computer how big to make the type in your window, just like in any other text editor. I've set this to 32, which is huge because I want you to easily see everything I'm typing. Typically, you want this number to be much smaller because then you can fit much more code on your screen, which is a good thing. It means you can type nice long lines when you want to, and you can also fit a lot of code on at once, which means you get to see a lot of it at once. And when you start writing bigger programs, it's really helpful to be able to have all that context around. So you want this number to be as small as is comfortable for you, depending on your eyesight and how far you sit from your monitor and the kind of monitor you have. There's no magic number here. You might try a number like 12 or 14 and go up or down from there. You'll notice at the right-hand side it says requires restart of processing. It might not seem like it means that, but it really does. If you change this number and hit OK, you will see the new font size on your screen, and that's pretty great. And that means that if it's too big or too small, you can come right back to the preferences and tune it up or down until it's just right. But the text editor will go weird. A lot of little things just won't work right until you quit and restart. So I suggest to find the ideal font size here. Twiddle with the number, go up and down, hit OK, take a look at what you've got, come back, maybe adjust it again, and then when you like the font size, quit processing and restart. And that will cause it to wake up with your new font size and everything will work beautifully. The third thing I want to talk about is the number in this box. This tells processing how much memory to grab when it first starts running. Your computer only has a finite amount of memory in it, and every program needs some of it. Your operating system takes some of the memory, your web browser takes some, your instant messenger client takes some more, your MP3 player takes some more. Every program eats up some memory. Processing needs some too. But then it needs even more because your program, your sketch, is going to need some memory. And it's hard for processing to know how much your program is going to need. So it takes a guess. There's a default here. It grabs a certain amount of memory, and it says that's enough both for me, for processing, and for your programs. If later on, when you're writing programs that create lots of objects, you find that you're getting errors from the system that say, I'm out of memory, and you're sure it's not a bug in your program, you can come back here and crank this number up. And that will give processing more memory for itself. Usually, an operating system will impose some upper limit here, and so if you pick a number that's too big, it will complain. The reason you don't want to crank this up indiscriminately is the more memory that processing takes, the less memory there is for everything else on your computer. And that can cause those other things to run slowly or not at all. So you want this number really to be as small as possible that still lets your programs run. The default value is going to be more than enough for a very long time, maybe forever for you. But if you do start running into memory errors, this is the place to come to fix it. This is the fourth thing I want to talk about. The processing window has a text editor in the middle. That's the font size we were just discussing changing the size of. It's a perfectly nice text editor, and it has some lovely features like automatically color coding your program. If for any reason you prefer a different text editor than the one that's built into processing, you can use that. All you have to do is turn this button on. There's a couple of things to keep in mind so that you don't drive yourself crazy when you do that, and I have a separate video that you can watch that discusses that in detail so that you'll know just how to manage your world if you're using an external editor. But it's there if you want it. We are never going to do that in this course. I'm always going to enter all of our programs directly into processing. So those are the key preferences that I wanted to cover. Once you've set things up the way you like, just hit the OK box and you're set.